One. Hey, folks, we're here on a lovely Saturday. Was it January 4th, 2020? First show of the new year. It's, y'all saw an episode last week, but we've been off the mic for 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
At this point. We took a vacation, y'all.
That was a long vacation.
We didn't fucking go anywhere, but I actually went somewhere.
In my mind, yo.
I
went to my happy place.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy fucking New Year. I hope y'all had a great time. You forgot your name, by the way.
I didn't forget it. I know what it is.
Oh, my bad. You forgot.
Oh, you want me to tell them?
Yeah.
I'm Sean Hatfield.
And I'm Freddy G. Welcome back.
Our guest in today, the host of Love Songs, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. on Ultra 104.9. Love Songs with Nikki Ray. Nikki Ray.
Hi everyone.
Pleasure to meet you, Nikki.
Pleasure to meet you. I actually had been trying to get a hold of you for a minute, but I'll be honest. When I reached out to you at the beginning, I didn't think you were gonna reply.
Really?
Yeah, because I know how you radio people are.
Keep me out of that equation of I know how you radio people are. I'm not like most radio people. I'm actually down to earth.
Yeah. I feel
they
you.
all say that.
So
I just want to coat my dressing room. That's all.
Yeah, that's right.
So I did want to get right into it for the people that don't know, like myself included, I think. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
A little bit about myself. Jeez.
Happy childhood?
I'm a radio DJ. Enough said. No, how I got started? Well, I was bored. I was working full time for an accountant. Well, actually, several accountants. And
so you're smart. Good.
I was a receptionist. You don't need smarts for that.
Sometimes they're the smartest one in the office.
Yep.
So, and I come from a background of just a family that worked in radio or musicians.
Nice.
So, a longtime friend of mine, told me, why don't you just try for radio? I said, why would I do that? Like, I don't even know anything about it. And he's like, try it. So I went and, applied for it and I got the job.
I now hate you.
Because of my personality, I would think.
No, I just hate you because of the fact that I just tried it, went and applied, and I got it.
Yeah.
I applied 6 times. No, I never got a fucking thing.
Well, again, like I said, I knew someone.
Oh, so, see, there it is.
It's a valley thing. You gotta know someone.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. That was back in 2007. And then I worked, till 2012. I took a break for about 3 years. And then my mind was still like, okay, you know what? I love radio. I grew a passion for it. Yeah. It was just a hobby, something to just part-time, weekend. And then, I grew to love it. So
now you do like it, like, is this your full-time? Like, is this the only thing you do is what I'm saying?
Yes. And it's not work.
Of course.
I enjoy it. Like, to the max.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I did not, I used to hear that, like, cheesy cliche, you never work a day in your life if you do what you love.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. In 2019, just last year, I really got a sense of feel for what that really means. Cause just last year, like with my career in comedy, it's really starting to like catch fire.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you. I started making more money than when I started because I started doing a bunch of shit for free. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still do stuff for free every now and then, but, now like the money starting to come in and stuff like that. So going back to what you were saying, like I just got doing off a couple of shows in November and December and doing like private shows as well. And when I would get off stage, I was like, fuck, people are paying me to do this shit. Like, and to me, I'm being paid just to tell you what's on my mind and to be myself. You know what I mean? And at the beginning, it was kind of weird I kind of felt like I was ripping people off. Cause they would laugh, but I was like, dude, I'm just telling you my life. This shit actually happened. Like, this lady really did touch me, and I didn't really. So
now, did you like it though?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
The important part is he's been staring in a bathroom mirror telling himself the same story for 20 years. That's how you work bits out.
So yeah, and so going back to your point, like now I know that it's not work.
It isn't.
It's not work, and I love what I do. I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, the only thing I would change is eventually I would like to become like you in the way that I would like to do this full time in just this. Well, I mean, just this and this. I plan not to ever let go of either or until I die or whatever, or until I can't speak anymore. So yeah, but it's an awesome feeling.
It is.
I'm trying to get out of the rotation of like the 9-to-5 corporate world. No offense if you work a 9-to-5, keep doing you. It's not.
We feel you.
Yeah, it's not. I tell him this all the time. If I reach 70 and I'm working a 9-to-5, something went horribly wrong in my life. You know what I mean? It's just I've learned that the corporate world is not for you. Not for me. Mm-hmm. It's just
well, I mean, it's what you best feel fit. You know, I like the 9-to-5 because I like a schedule. I'm not the type where just random. My mind just like, I don't know. I just go. I can't concentrate or I can't focus. I need a schedule. Like,
do you have ADD?
Adult ADHD. Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means that once you have a whole bunch of responsibilities like kids and work and bills, you get adult ADHD. Yeah. When I was little, I never had that. I was great. Now it's like there has to be a schedule for me because if there isn't, I can't function. Yeah. I can't do my job. Like I just can't. It's just weird.
And I like being in this sort of, we're both kind of in entertainment. So being in this sort of work, like I just feel like the calendar has become my best friend. I've learned that I now don't function. Like if I don't look at my calendar, if I don't book shit into my calendar, that's why when you asked me today, then you were like, "Hey, are we still on for today?" I was about to just like sporadically say yes, but I was like, "Yeah, we're on for today." I was just making sure that today was because now like I got, and it's not really that I have a lot of shit going on per se yet, but I have a kid. I see her every other weekend. Sometimes I forget if it's my weekend or not, and then I double book people. And then we were going over the schedule of the shows that I got coming up, and I was like, I can't do this because I have a show. So calendar became like my best friend. Or whatever.
It works. Before you were kind of like, I got it all in my mind. I got it. Exactly. I got this. Yeah. And then you forget. Well, as I get older, I'm 38. I don't know how old you are, but I feel like as I've gotten older, I need that. If not, I just cannot function. Like my day just goes to crap.
Yeah.
Because of no schedule. So.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. And
also is that thing about the, if you have it written down somewhere, it kind of reminds you every time you're looking at it so that it's, because you're like, yeah, I know I got that thing on Friday, but if you've got it in big bold letters on the calendar, you're like, okay, definitely Friday. Not just a vague Friday off in the distance.
Yeah, when it's just like floating around in your mind, like, I know I had that on a Friday, but was it this Friday? Next Friday?
Exactly.
What Friday was it?
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. Like, it's like, is it this Friday? Last Friday? What's today? Today's Monday. So is it next Friday? Yeah.
Well, that's how I felt this past week with the whole New Year's. Like, I literally woke up and I'm like, okay, is it Saturday? Like, what day is it? Do I work today? Because usually on Saturdays, I do work the mornings on air. Yeah. But during the week, it's just the night shift. So yeah, I woke up and I was like, where am I? Like, what's going on? Yeah. Okay, but we're on track now.
Yeah.
So.
Now,
it's Saturday today, by the way.
Yes. But see, I know that because I looked at my phone. I was like, yeah, it is Saturday. So going back to the radio thing, and I've said this a couple of times in previous episodes with other DJs that we've had on here, because this is actually how this came about.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid, yay high, that I figured out what radio was, or that I had an idea of it, and comedy. I learned that those were the two things that I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. My two biggest dreams to this day was comedy. I wanted to make people laugh, and I wanted to be on the radio. Like, that's what I wanted to do. So I grew up, and then I found out how much... so I grew up, I applied to, here. I actually went to school in California for recording engineering and production, which is just a fancy word to say that you can work aboard or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I came back down. I applied here when it was just Univision. Ain't never nobody called me back. So I couldn't get it. So, but then as I grew and I did more research and how the radio industry works and shit like that, then I, long story short, figured out how much the fucking FCC really fucking sucks. So I was like, I don't. And see, my biggest problem is, again, this is maybe why I like comedy. I have a big mouth and I have a lot of shit to say, and I have a problem when people tell me you can't say that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I can't say it. You know what I mean? So
you're like, I can say it. My vocal cords are working.
Yeah.
Can you hear what's coming out of my mouth right now? Because it's totally coming out.
Yeah. But then the thing is that they tell you, well, see, it's a $10,000 fine. I was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, once you put a number on that, it's like...
Yeah. I got you. So then...
It's the only time I've seen an on-air DJ get serious real quick. So it's like, I probably shouldn't say that. No, do not say that. Please.
Yeah, please don't.
I may get a check, but you might get an ass whooping.
So then I discovered podcasting. And again, I did research on how it works. So then, the biggest gift in the world, which I discovered, that is not touched or regulated by FCC. So I was like, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then I didn't know, like, the technical side of it. So then that's when this gentleman came into play, and I was like, you know what, and I've always been the type of person, ever since I was a kid, that is like, this is what I want to do. And then after I figure out that that's what I want to do, I start to figure out how do I do it. And once I get to that step, I'm the type of person that was like, okay, let's do it. Let's move it. And that's how I kind of bugged them and pushed them. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. So let's get it going. And now we're here 92 episodes deep.
That's good.
Yeah. Banged our heads off the brick walls for about a year and a half trying to figure out how to get this shit.
Like really, really like rolling or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. We're still, sometimes the wheels do fall off this motherfucker. So yeah, we gotta put them back on.
You gotta oil them a little bit.
Yeah. It's been at least 6 or 8 months since we've had to call somebody 3 hours before we record to get a guest in here. But
exactly.
That was the modus operandi, or that's not the right Latin. That was the way we functioned for for almost a year. It was very haphazard
that was the hardest part. And to be honest with you, part of it is our fault, because believe it or not, it's kind of hard to convince somebody to come into your house.
No lies. Remember, I messaged you. I was like, I'm going to give the address to everyone that I know in case
she told me, she was like, if I get kidnapped, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean.
Well, I'll be honest.
Look at me.
So you got a point. Though. So that I was going to say that. So I've been trying to work on this segment on mental health.
Okay.
But I want to bring people in here that know what the fuck they're talking about. So what I'm saying is, I've been like trying to reach out to a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a nutritionist, and a neurologist.
And like mental health, as far as what, like
in general, as far as like the stigmas, the way it works, why it happens, how to deal with it, how it affects suicide, why it affects suicide, shit like that.
Well, I was recently diagnosed with anxiety and depression.
What recently, as
in 5 months ago.
Okay.
And like I said before, when I was growing up, I never had ADHD, ADD, depression, anxiety. I never felt anything of how I felt that one day. It happened when I started college about 1.5 years ago. And just that in itself was like overwhelming. Doing classes and then going home, working part-time and then going home and having your kids and house chores, and it became a lot. And it was to a point where I didn't want to do anything. Like the goals that I had, I didn't feel like it. And I would, talk to myself and be like, what's going on? Like, what is it? You enrolled in college, you're doing that. You have a part-time job, what you love doing. Your kids are healthy. What is it? And I couldn't put my finger on it.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
See, that's what it is right there. I have one, and I'm trying to convince the court that she doesn't belong to me, but it's a struggle.
What do you mean? Like that you're not the dad or what? Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's a fucking
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yes, she's mine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm don't want to get into full detail, but I'm pretty sure I remember you being there with the girl,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So your only option is to sell them to Carney.
So I went to the doctor, and I've had insurance forever. I just never used it. I'm one of those Hispanics where it's like, I'm not going to die. I don't need to go to the doctor. You know what I mean? Until I'm really like, yeah. So no, I went and she gave me the paper like to fill out. Okay, questions like, do you feel like killing yourself? Do you have negative thoughts? Da, da, da. And they were all yes. So I said, but this is going based on how I felt the past 2 weeks. I mean, this is not like my whole life, because my whole life I never felt that way. Yeah. So so I am I guess a person that has anxiety and depression.
The same thing that happened with me, and I saw a psychiatrist. Not a psychiatrist. I saw a psychologist. So long story short, with me, they did the same shit with me, right? But what it came down to with me, because like with mental health or whatever, either it is you can be born with it, right? I didn't know that. This is something that I learned researching and from talking to people and shit like that. So you can be born with it. Normally, like I said, long story short, if you're born with it, it's because there's a chemical imbalance in your brain. And that's what it is. So then you go through therapy, through medication, shit like that. Or you can develop it. But if you develop it, 85% of the time, if you develop it, number one, you can get rid of it. Meaning that it can go away. You'll never experience it again. Secondly, if you develop it, it's because there was something in your life. There was a traumatic experience. So with me, they went both ways. It's like, and the first thing that I'm not going to say she attacked, but the first thing that she asked was like, were you depressed as a kid? Because of like my disability or whatnot. And I was like, well, nah, I wasn't really depressed because I thought that was just life. Like I thought, well, I'm just different and they're different and they're assholes and this is how it works. You know what I'm saying? So it never depressed me or I didn't carry that with me or whatever. So what they figured out is, I recently lost my mom, right?
Okay.
So, and to put that into perspective, I didn't start dealing with anxiety and depression until the loss of my mom. That's when it all like spiraled out of control. So then when I told her that, that's when she told me, she was like, okay, it was this traumatic experience that is causing your depression. But this is why I don't like the American medical industry or whatever. As soon as they figured that out, and because they give you this fucking chart with all the shit that they've kind of figured out what was wrong with you, and they were trying to give me like 3 different pills. I'm different. I have a thing about taking pills. Like I don't like to. So they were like, well, you're gonna need to take it so that you can basically keep control of yourself. I kept looking at the lady like, I'm not fucking crazy. I'm just dealing with shit. So I chose not to do it. So I tried looking for like natural remedies or whatever. And the only thing that kept coming up is weed, marijuana. Unfortunately, I can't do that because I have a job and shit. So the other one that came out was the working out. So it's like you need to work out.
Yoga has really worked for me. If you've never tried it.
I've never tried it. And I probably would not be able to pull off the poses. But
well, I only do 3 poses. I'm not like 100% yoga.
Yeah.
I don't even know the actual lingo.
Yeah.
You know, but it's worked for me. And then you not being able to smoke. So just working out worked for you?
So that's where I was going. So I learned that basically they say like heavy workouts, not literally heavy workouts, but basically diving yourself into working out balances out your anxiety and your depression. And they go into like the scientific breakdown of it. Because if you work out, your brain releases endorphins, the dopamine,
the feel-good
and
hormones,
the feel-good and everything. See, and the other reason as into why I didn't want to take pills is because I'm a recovering alcoholic. My biggest problem is that to this day, I have a very addictive personality. Anything that I do or that I try and that I like, I will pick up and I will not let go. That's why I was an alcoholic for 11 plus years or whatever. So, my big, because they gave me these pills, right? And I was like, in layman's terms, what do these do or whatever? So the lady told me, she was like, think of this pill as your happy pill. You're going to take it and it's going to make you happy. I knew what that meant because I've taken pills before.
That's also how you try to sell someone a fucking bag of dope.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
feel great, man.
So exactly. So I come from a background of drugs. Like I've come from a background of drug usage and drugs, period. I know what they are, what they do, how they work. I probably knew that better than she did. You know what I mean? So as soon as she said this is the happy pill, I knew what triggered in the back of my head was relapse. I knew that was, so I was like, I can't do this. Cause I'm not, I've been sober for, it was 7 years at the time. So I was like, I'm not. So then going back to the working out. So I started working out like a madman. Okay. Like I would run 5 miles in the morning. Wow. And I would run 5 miles in the evening and I would do weights in between. So I was dead by the time the day was over. So as I did that, I noticed that my anxiety and my depression started to diminish.
Yes. But when you don't work out.
Yeah, it comes back.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So what I learned was you need to keep so like they tell you, you're going to have to take this pill every day. So instead of taking this pill every day, I learned, dude, just work out every day.
But because even then the pills don't even kick. It's not like an instant change.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe you need like at least 6 weeks of consistently taking it to where you actually feel, okay, well now I feel different. Where before I could have been like in a crowd of people and I wasn't able to function. And now it's like, it doesn't even bother me, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah. So I learned that naturally, like it started to balance my shit out.
yeah.
And I was able to control it. Now, a very big point that I point out here. Do I still deal with anxiety and depression today? Yes. The difference is that I learned to control it. It doesn't take over me like it used to. Cause we've had these conversations. I feel sorry for him because sometimes I use him as my therapist and shit. Like I told him, a lot of people didn't know. Like I couldn't even talk about it. I could talk about it now because I always feel like if I talk about it, I feel like if somebody hears it, I can help somebody else out. Like cause I was bad. I got to the point where suicide became an option, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I like that too. Not because I wanted to kill myself, but because now I understand why people commit suicide. As crazy as that may sound. So when people say, "Oh, well, don't be a bitch. Why would you kill yourself?" No, bro, you don't understand. When you go down that rabbit hole, suicide feels like it's the best fucking, and it's scary because once you step out of it, you're like, holy shit, I could have been done with, you know what I mean? And I've only been down that rabbit hole that deep 3 times, and it was scary as fuck. But now I understand. So by understanding my situation, it helped me like control it. The other thing that kind of triggered it is the fact that I've been sober for 9 years now. So this is the first time that I've ever had to deal with this shit like sober. Before I used to be able to just drink and I'd be fine, you know what I'm saying? But now I had to deal with the loss of my mom sober. Like in 2017, just in 12 months, I lost my mom. I lost a childhood friend. The only good thing that came out of that year, my daughter was born. By September of that year, my marriage started to disintegrate. By December of that year, I had lost my marriage completely.
And was it because of your drinking or? No.
I had already been sober for forever. It was because of a lot of it was because of the previous events that happened. Like when I lost that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand. And they can say whatever they want about it, but my mom was beyond my best friend. Like when I tell you that my mom was like, she was my superhero, she really was. Like I saw my mom like struggle to hold 3 jobs just to take care of me because she was a single mom for a while. And she did everything for me as far as like to turn me into the man that she thought that I should be. And I mean, do you have boys?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 boys.
So you're a mom, right? I mean, I'm sure that you're married, right? But even as a mom, I know you know how hard that is. You know what I'm saying? So my mom had to do this shit all on her own. And to this day, I'll tell you, there's nobody like my mom. So when you lose that from one day to another, it's like you feel like somebody just sucked the life out of you.
Like you lost a piece of yourself that you don't even.
Exactly. And to this day, I still feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that also took a toll on my marriage. The fact that she didn't understand what I was going through also like didn't help the situation. So that basically, that amongst a bunch of other shit, like was what broke my marriage. So but within a span of 1 year, I went through all of that, and I had to learn to deal with it like sober. Like nope, because I didn't relapse. I thank God. I like I said, I've been sober for 9 years now. But over the years, like I've learned over these past 3 years, I've learned to like deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Has it gone away? No, it still comes over me, but I've learned to like tame it and be like, you're not gonna take over me.
Yeah.
Just like
and it's a good thing because a lot of people don't have that strong mental focus. Like, okay, I lost my mother. I know that she was the greatest thing, but then here you are, where you give yourself that positive talk to get you through, and then you find other ways to not relapse. And a lot of people don't have that strong sense, like where they can just talk, self-talk.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, like what helped me a lot, it's funny how this comes back full circle. Oh, because I went to therapy, right? And I'll be honest with you, it didn't help. The reason that it didn't help me at all is because when I went to therapy, this lady told me everything that I already knew.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, you're telling me what I already know. I thought that she was going to help me understand and how to deal with it. But she just told me everything I already knew. So I was like, can I just have my $200 back? This shit is not working out. You know what I mean? Now, for the people watching and shit, I'm not saying that a psychologist will not work for you. If it does, great, go do it.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, it didn't work for me.
But going back to what you're just talking about, my boy has ADHD, and he's it's called combined type, ADHD combined type, and we've gone through therapists, and they do that play therapy where there's toys and stuff.
Yeah.
And
how old is he?
He's 8.
Okay.
Yeah. I always forget how old he is.
So real quick.
It didn't work for him. And I would tell the counselor, this isn't working because he's not going to be like this in the classroom environment to where there's going to have a one-on-one. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other kids. So give me real life scenarios. Bring in a whole bunch of people. That way you can see how he reacts. Because right now it's just you and him. Yeah. He's going to follow. He's going to listen to you. He's going to be focused. Now, when he's in a room full of people that are talking all at once, that's what triggers it. Put that here. Not these dolls or dinosaurs, because they ain't talking.
Can you draw how you feel?
Yeah, here's some clay.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. To them, it's like, oh, clay, cool, So, again, going back to those that are watching, it may not work for them or it may not work for their kids, but you have to find different ways.
That's where I was going with it.
Just to throw this in there, I think, and we've talked about this before, it's a lot of people don't understand the practice of like psychiatry or psychology, what exactly, they're specialists, you know what I mean? You've got the script writers and then you've got the head shrinkers, and they play in different camps. They're looking for different things. They've got different motivations. So if you go to the pill popper looking for some head shrinking, they're just going to go, here's some Xanax.
Exactly.
And which, let's be honest, Freddie, if she'd have chopped up like 2 lines and done one first, you'd have followed her.
Probably. Yeah.
But,
and then I would be on the street somewhere right now.
Well, the thing is, you know what? I've met at least a couple people who Xanax, that's their fucking thing.
And with me, it wasn't. I just go to sleep and I don't do shit for the rest of the day. Weed was my shit. That was my shit.
Yeah.
I was productive too.
That was his shit.
I was productive too.
What I was going to say though is if you go to a specialist looking for a generalist, somebody that can go, oh, here, you should try this, as opposed to being like, this is what I do, this is what I'm going to do for you, to you, with or without your consent. I mean, you can walk out the door, but they're not going to be like, at some point you're going to run into that. I've got the medical degree. I know what I'm talking about. And it's like, okay, well, maybe that's not what you need.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about the whole, she's telling you things
that you already know.
Yeah. A lot of it is just kind of playing mediator for your own internal dialogue. Like you said, some people can kind of sit down and do the little, the mind divide and go, okay, here's me looking at me objectively, here's me subjectively experiencing it,
Something-
and then trying to...
Something that she did tell me that I'll never forget. One thing that I did learn from seeing her, the 4 times that I saw her. And now I understand what she meant, and she is partially true. She's
You don't
right.
you don't want to give her full.
No, because
Full credit.
it's not entirely the way she put it. But something she did tell me was that my frustration came because of my actions. So I was like, what do you mean?
And I was going to say that.
And this is exactly what she said. And she was so right. But she didn't tell me that I was wrong. So that's where I was confused. So what she said was that it was because all the actions that I took were sexually driven. She's
Sexually?
Like, yeah. They were
okay.
everything that you do is sexually driven.
Ah, Freudian.
Okay, give me an example.
So that's what I told her. So she went from like the bare minimum to like the more intricate. She said, every aspiration that you want and that you try to achieve, there's something sexual behind it. So I started thinking to myself, and I was like, fuck, she's right. So, and then she was like, aside from that, every relationship that you've had has been sexually driven. I was like, fuck, she's right again.
But isn't relationships that
No.
is sexually? I mean, like
No.
you're attracted to them.
Yes, but
And-
that's because that's what I said. I was like, but I thought that a relationship was sexually driven. And she gave me a solid no, and she explained. That's what I liked. She was like, when you have a relationship and that you want a relationship to bloom and to be strong and to build that bond and say that, cause at the time I was married. Well, I mean, I'm still married, but,
He's off the market.
yeah, no, I'm not. Don't say that. I'm separated, but anyway, yeah, I'm not.
He's off the leash.
He's on?
That's what he is.
Oh, he's off the leash.
Yeah, pretty much.
But she's still holding on to it though.
Financially. So what she said was, everything. So she was explaining. So the one that you're trying to build the bond with, and you want to build that strong bond that won't break, it has to be based on not only love, but there has to be things that are non-sexual that attract you to that person. So I'm going to give you an example. It depends on the person.
Okay.
There is females and males that are, their major attraction is power. Period. Just power. So what that means is, say that this dude is a car salesman. Let's say that you're the CEO of a company. By nature, because of how they are, they're gonna go head over heels for you because it's a power thing. See what I'm saying? And when it comes with people like that, sometimes physical attraction and sex is the last thing on their mind. And I've met people like that. I know personally people, and it started making sense. I was like, and I started like drifting off because I have ADD too. And I started thinking, I was like,
ADHD.
What ADD?
Is it the same thing?
No, it's different. ADHD is you're hyperactive. ADD means that you have trouble. You either pay too much attention to detail or not enough.
Oh, I don't know.
And you lose concentration
Wait, what are we
very
doing again?
fast. Exactly. Like that.
What's going on?
So that's what she said. There's different attractions or whatever. With you, basically what she was telling me was that with you, everything is sexual. So she was like, but there is a way that you can stop that. She was like, all you need to do, and I was like, it's easier said than done, but what you need to do is you need to refocus your energy elsewhere. And I guarantee you, when you refocus your energy elsewhere, it's going to help you grow as a person and be different. She was like, I'm not saying like stop having sex or stop having the sexual drive or whatever, but don't let that be your principle, like the way that you're doing it now.
Okay.
And she even told me, this is where she made me feel uncomfortable. She said, right now, she was like, the 45 minutes that I've been with you, I can see you. This is exactly what she said. She said,
Freddie, you've been staring at my tits
I
this
know, I
entire
was
time.
like-
she was like,
You've been staring up at me.
I can see your, she didn't call it a vibe. So I forgot what word she used, but she was
Aura?
like, no, she
Libido?
was like, I can see your, and
Tent?
it wasn't desire either. She was like, I can see she meant like, I can see your sexual desire right now because of your mannerisms, the way you're expressing yourself. Oh, and she said that I was very assertive, and that she said that being very, very assertive is a sexual characteristic as well.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's but as she was telling me, I started to analyze myself, and I was like, she's fucking right. I didn't tell her, but in my mind, I was like, yeah, she's right. So I did take away, I did take away from that. So to go back to your question, basically her point was, if you want somebody that you're planning to spend the rest of your life with until you die, your desire needs to be elsewhere. Like she basically said that sex had to be at the bottom of the barrel. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that it loses importance. It's just don't let that drive the vehicle. It's basically what she was saying. She was like, oh, I get it. I completely. And it was something that I did learn. As far as like my anxiety, my depression, and all that, she didn't fucking make any sense to like what.
And that was the whole point.
Yeah, and that was the whole point behind it. So what I was getting at was like, so I stopped going and whatever because it was fucking expensive too. So what I learned was that, like I said, it brings me back full circle to this. The best therapy that I ever got and that I continue to get to this day, number one, is this. This has been my therapy. A little over a year that we've been doing, almost a year and a half now, I've learned a lot about myself as a person just by doing this. I've also learned that I've become a better conversationalist. The other thing that I learned is I've learned to listen. I've learned that I did not know how to listen. There's a difference between hearing somebody and listening. And this shit here has taught me. So now when I talk to somebody, I actually, like, it's going to sound fucking weird, but I actually pay attention. Before I wasn't. Because I was so concentrated on me. You know what I mean? So as I did this, like, this was therapy. My final therapy that really helped me, like, kind of break the shell and be like, I'm going to take control of this shit, was on stage.
Oh, okay.
Because on comedy on stage, it's like I tell people, like, yeah, people laugh and that is my intention, to make you laugh. But what a lot of people like look over is the fact that when you watch me on stage, I'm giving you my life. I mean, you can laugh all you want, but shit really did happen. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm thinking that people that laugh is because they can relate.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not that they're, well, I would think they're not laughing at your life, like, ha 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 ha. It's more like, ha ha ha, that's right, because
it's something that I've been
done
through,
that, or I've seen that, or I experienced, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and that's why I get the question a lot of like, I used to, not anymore, because like as people have seen me more, they kind of get the gist of like who I am or whatever. But I used to be asked a lot, like, why is your comedy so dark? And it's because, again, I'm giving you my life, and this is actually shit that I've gone through, I experienced, or I've seen. And secondly, because it comes from a dark place, because I come from a dark place. I had a very fucked up childhood, but now that I've grown and that I've seen other shit around me with other people, honestly, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
it was normal. It was normal not to have lights on. It's normal. Not that it's normal. It's just that I learned that it's okay. It's okay if you don't have lights. It's okay if we had to eat oatmeal for breakfast, oatmeal for lunch, and oatmeal for dinner. You know what I'm saying? Because that I learned that made me who I am today. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you learn to cope and be okay with your circumstances.
Just to throw this in there at this point, since we are kind of talking about mental health and therapy at this point, just a little something for the audience and y'all, if y'all need to hear it.
Yeah.
Just because you kind of gain an acceptance of like, oh, okay, that formed me as a person, does not mean you have to be okay with a lot of the bullshit that happens in your life.
Exactly. That's where I was gonna go.
Like, it shaped me as a man, and I never want to fucking do that again.
That was gonna be my point. That if this fucked up situation made you who you are, but let's say that you have anger issues, it's not okay to have anger issues. But what you went through should have at least given you the edge to show you how to deal with because I'll give you an example. For a long time and a long period of my life, I thought that it was okay to yell at people when you get mad. And as I grew and as I learned, and again, believe it or not, doing this shit here, I learned that, hey, it's not okay to yell at people just because they disagree with you. Another thing that I learned is, as simple as it may fucking sound, I learned that it's okay to disagree with people. It's fine. Not everybody is going to think exactly like you.
And the yelling could that be because of the anxiety? Like that was your reaction?
No, but I've always been.
Oh, you've always.
But the reason that I've always been like this, I feel, at least back then, is because like every other fucking Mexican family, we were fucking yelled at as kids, and you grow up with it. It's okay to fucking yell your head off at somebody that you're pissed off at.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I've learned that, hey bro, if you sit down and you have dialogue with this person, why do you feel that way? What did I do that made you feel that way? What did you do? It's okay to ask these questions. And even if at the end of the conversation you agree to disagree, that's fine. Now, I wish I would have figured this out when I was married, but I didn't. But then again, I kind of also blame that on the fact that I was just going through a lot of shit that I had never dealt with before.
Yeah.
With no drugs. I don't give a fuck what people say, man. Weed helped me a lot. I don't give a shit what you say. Weed was a shit for me. Cause that's another thing. Like when I used to smoke, cause there was a period in my life where I used to smoke every day. I was so nice. I was just very nice to people, you know what I'm saying? Just nice for no reason too. Just, you know what I'm saying? And because I found out that it would balance me and mellow me out. Now, I understand if weed's not for you, if you think it's a drug. Another thing that I learned.
A gateway drug.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing that I learned is you're not supposed to push your doctrine or your beliefs on people. Religion included, but anything. Like, for example, weed. If you're strongly against weed, I may fucking think you're crazy, but that's your thing. It's okay if you feel that way. And me as a person, I have to learn to respect that.
Well, okay, to circle back around real quick, and this goes to the general point I've been kind of injecting here throughout, is that a lot of people don't, like, they have a general kind of, like, pop psychology understanding of what a lot of this stuff means, but you get something like agree to disagree. A lot of people take that to mean it's like, it's okay that I think you're wrong and you think I'm wrong. It's what that really means is we realize that we have differing opinions, and I have to treat you as if your belief is right for you. If we've come to that actual, like, agreeing to disagree. Otherwise, we just disagree.
Yeah.
Like, if we walk away from it, it's like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm a fucking idiot.
And
we just disagree.
And you have to, but in order for you to get there, you have to understand why you, like, I have to understand why you feel that way. And the only way that I'm going to understand why you feel that way is again, going back to my previous point.
To listen.
Yeah. And conversation. I feel, and you may disagree with me, I feel that's why the world is right now is fucked up. And that's why we at war. Because none of these motherfuckers are sitting down. I really feel that it's like, hey bro, I really think that purple should be white and white should be black. But these conversations at the top, I feel they're not having. Because this dude feels that they have a bigger gun. Mine's bigger. I'm going to blow your shit up. You're going to blow. But
so then it goes back to the very beginning where you're talking about power.
Exactly.
So.
Well, you want to talk about, like, politics. Look at, I mean, one of the things that's always, you know, here in Texas with the large portion of you know, very evangelical Baptists in the population, you have these people that are like, I support Israel. And it's like, okay, but you support Israel because you want them to build the second temple so Jesus will come back. That's not supporting the Jews at all. I mean, whether you should be doing that is a completely different conversation, but that's what I was getting at as far as, like, people will walk away from it going like, oh, we've come to a resolution. It's like, no, you've just figured out exactly where your point of contention is, and you're not going to do shit about it. Like, you talking about, like, people recognizing it's like, oh, I react this way to a situation, or so-and-so react, you know, they don't deal well with, you know, it's like, oh, well, I'm agitated because of the scenario. And it's like, okay, it's great that you recognize that. That is literally the first step.
Yeah.
There are other steps after that. And
now this is, with learning all of this is still something, this is the only one thing that I'm still not willing to compromise. Where this is where I feel that I'm different. I'm like the unicorn from everybody else. Something that I'm still not willing to compromise is my morals. Like, I was brought up in a very old-fashioned home, and there was a set of morals that were instilled in me, and it was properly shown to me why this is right, why this is wrong. And when it comes to certain things, again, I respect your point of view, and honestly, you may be right, but because I feel this way, this is why, like, I'm not willing to compromise my morals. But just because I feel that way, it does not give me the right to disrespect you as a human being, which was going to be my final point on it. Something that I feel, going back to the war thing and arguing and shit like that, I feel that something that we forgot was something very basic. We forgot that whether you're a Jew, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, gay, lesbian, whatever the fuck you are, we forgot one main thing.
We all bleed the same?
At the end of the day, we're all human beings, yo. And we forgot. You know what I'm saying? I feel that if we just go back to our roots, just based on the fact that Sean, even if I feel he's a piece of shit, at the end of the day, he's a human being. And because of that, believe it or not, he deserves an amount of respect, whether I agree with him or not. Which brings me to the earlier point that you made, going back to the marriage. Even if you take love out of the equation, because I think love is one of the biggest things, if not the biggest. If you take love out of the equation, you gotta respect your partner. Like, you have to. if you don't respect your partner, you have nothing to build on. You know what I'm saying? If you can't respect them as a person, fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not a perfect person. Mm-hmm. Did I disrespect my partner? Yeah, I did. Do I take full responsibility for it? Yeah, I did. But I fucked up. What do you want me to do? Mm-hmm. I can't erase, you know, which the only thing I could ask for is for you to forgive me. And whether you're willing to do it or not is completely up to you.
Yeah.
So if you do forgive me, the only other thing that I have beyond that is for me to change. And that's the other problem. There's a lot of people that want you to accept them for them without changing. Meaning, like, let's say that I yell at you, that I get mad and I yell at you, and say that now we're cool. There's people that think that I need you to be cool, knowing that if I get mad again, I'm going to yell at you again. Because that's what the fuck I do.
That's good. That's what I was saying. And you're not responding to it in a proper way.
Exactly. And you can't, you just can't fucking do that. I can't yell at you just because I'm mad. So you need to figure out another way. As into, okay, I'm yelling at you because I'm frustrated. Okay, so you need to figure out another way to deal with that frustration where you're not shitting on this person. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel that there's a lot of people that don't know how to do it, and brings me back to the first point. I feel that that's where love comes in. I feel that if you can't do it, it's because you truthfully, honestly don't love that person. And the last factor in that is there's a difference between loving somebody and being in love with somebody. Mm-hmm. If you don't know the difference, it's more than likely because you've never been in love. If
you've never come across these terms, eros and agape. Eros is erotic love. Agape is the love of just the love between individuals.
Yeah,
the love for your brother, your parents, your dog, whatever. Your society.
And that's the thing that I'm now working as it like on myself. I'm trying to be just more understanding in general. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, with like gay people. If you're gay, like, you're gay.
You don't beat them in restrooms anymore?
No.
That's good. That's good.
He's grown from that.
No. Well, what I'm saying is, if you're gay, you're gay. Be happy. Be you. Now, this is what people don't understand. Do I agree with your decision? No, I don't. I really don't. But does that give me the right? That's where I was going. Does that give me the right to not treat you as equal like everybody else? No. Just because you're gay, it doesn't give me the right to treat you any less than I would anybody else. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, just because I don't agree with you, it doesn't give me the right to disrespect you.
Okay, we're coming up on the end reel here, but just to bookend that real quick, to play advanced devil's advocate a little bit, all true, all good stuff. You can elaborate that with that a little bit more. On the opposite side of that, if somebody runs out into public and with assless chaps and a hard on, I don't care who they want to fuck with it. Get the fuck out of here. That's the point.
But
that's an extreme example. But that's what I'm saying.
That's what I was going to say real quick because we need to switch out batteries. Okay, that's the only way.
Finish it up.
real quick.
For the recording devices, just to be clear.
So my point is, again, if you're gay, as long as you keep your penis away from me, we good. You know, it goes back to the respecting. If we respect you, I have gay friends. I have lesbian friends. I have transgender friends. Do I agree with you? No. Do I think you're right? No. That's why I disagree with you. But it doesn't give me the right to be like, oh, well, you're a piece of shit or you're whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know why? Because at the end of the day, you're still a fucking human being. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel that people don't understand. But we'll continue.
Yeah. We'll be right back, folks.
And now for a commercial break for our sponsors.
You need a dildo? No. 3, 2, 1. Okay, folks, we're back.
Hello, welcome back.
Welcome back. How
This feels like some sort of religious ceremony. Like,
I know, right?
Welcome back. Welcome back to you.
how long you been married?
Oh, you want to go there? Okay. Sorry, guys.
Let me get the notes out. How'd you make this shit work? 4 kids, you said. Jesus. Okay.
Been married. This is my third, actually.
Marriage?
Yeah.
I really want to talk to you.
This is my third. My second, he didn't want to marry me. So I want to consider
then start from the top. The first.
My first marriage.
How old were you?
I was 20 when I got married.
The first one?
Yeah. And that lasted for about 9-10 years.
So just to gist, because I want to cover all 3 of them. Just real quick rundown what happened.
And keep in mind that he's just checklisting against his own mistakes. Like, oh, no, I got that one right.
Don't do that. Definitely don't do that. I grew. They say that you can't grow out of love.
Yeah, you can.
But I don't think that happened. I grew out of interest. I wasn't interested anymore. I wanted something more. And I was...
Do you know why?
Well, I'm trying to get there, sir.
Oh, that's not bad.
That was when my radio career was already going. Well, when I was already figuring out, okay, you know what? I love doing this. And I was working 2 jobs. I was working, of course, with the accountants I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working 8 to 5. And then after that, I would have like an hour and a half to go eat, put in the workout, and then I would go to radio. And I worked radio 7 to midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for 3 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Working that. And then I lost interest. He's just very different than I am. He's a very quiet person, and I'm not very quiet. So it was kind of difficult to have that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was young, and if I look back at it now, yes, it could have worked because, communication is a really big key in relationships.
Uh-huh.
I filed for divorce, so it didn't go well. As even till now, I believe he hates me for doing that.
I was just about to ask if it was amicable, but
no, I truly believe that he just does not want to see me at all happy. And I can understand why. I mean, if I put myself in his shoes, it was just from one day to the next where I told him I just don't want to be with you, and I'm going to draw up the divorce document, and I did that. The second one, and I didn't last long being single. So I divorced him in 2008, and then I met the father of my kids. I have one child with my first marriage, but he's already 20. And then I met my other one, and that lasted 8 years, and I have 3 kids with him. On that one, it was sex driven, and that's what you were talking about in the first hour, where it was just a lot of sexual, and I am a very open person. I'm not like other females where could say that I'm conservative. I believe that sex in a marriage or in a long-term relationship is key. You say that bottom of the barrel, and I say it's right here. It has to be top.
So let me ask you a question since you say that, because this is the same question that the therapist asked me. Let's say that you're married, right, for 10 years. And you've been having sex for 10 years, of course.
Obviously.
Right?
Well, we should hope.
So now let's say that something... You've been with this person for 10 years. So you love them, right? That's why you're there. And the whole sex thing. Let's say that after 10 years... I can't think of something right now, so just for the sake of the example, let's say that the sex stopped. Not because you want to and not because he wants to. Let's just say that he just can't for a medical reason. But you, period, can't have sex with you. How would you deal with that? Let's say that happens now. In this marriage.
Okay. Well, there's lots of things that you can now do.
Yeah. So you would be
satisfy.
So you would be okay with it. Basically, I'm gonna tell you how the this is a professional therapist. I'm gonna tell you how she told me. Would you? Because that's what I said. I was like, there's a bunch of other shit you could do that will satisfy your partner and satisfy you. Uh-huh. So she said, so you're telling me that you would be okay with never again having penetration. That's exactly what she said. And I said, yes. And she called me a liar.
Okay, why did she call you a liar though?
Because she's a fucking liar.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because there's one thing of having penetration, there's another thing of having intimacy together.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
that, I mean, penetration is penetration. I mean, you're going to feel it, but it's that connection that you want.
Yeah.
And if that connection is not there, then...
that's what I'm saying. What if it is, but the penetration's not there? That's basically what she said.
Well, then that's... I would think that would be fine. Because you have that...
But I want you to... So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at.
I think he wants to know what your response to that situation...
I'm telling him my response. The connection is going to be there. You know, the desire, the want... Come over here, touch me, blah, 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 but there's not going to be any penetration.
Yeah.
So that to me is fine.
Okay.
You know, but if there's a problem when there's no penetration and no desire from the other person, it's like, okay, then what
are we doing?
Yeah, why are we here again? You know.
So that was my point previously. Well, I told her, right? I was like, hey, I'd be cool with that, but as long because my word choice was different. My word choice was, as long as the communication and the love and the
enough of the love, because I don't know. When you say love, it just throws me off.
What do you mean it throws you off?
It just throws me off.
Do you not love your spouse?
Huh?
Can you unpack that a little bit?
Exactly.
The love part, like, what do you mean about love? I mean, I love pizza. I love...
No, your spouse.
Yeah. What? The love? There's obviously love there. I mean, you don't got to throw it in all the time. I don't say I love you to my spouse every day. I've told him I love you maybe a handful of times since we've been married.
Yeah.
Because I think the word love, they put everything in it. Like all the feelings, all the actions. Mm-hmm. And I think love, the word love, it's just, yeah.
But I guess what I'm trying to get at, because you're saying that, what does love mean to you?
Love means to me the understanding, the knowing that this is who my husband is and how he is, and I get it. Actions. I guess because I've been married, 3 times, it's kind of like love is played out. Like, enough with the love word. I'm not going to tell you I love you every day.
So it's just the word that you have a problem?
Yeah.
I then that's okay. That's different. I was getting the impression that, and thank you for saying to unpack that, because that's what I was like, unpack
what?
So
you can't see the giant bag she has.
I was like, unpack what?
So no, and I completely agree with that, and like that's cool. What I'm saying is, excluding saying, I just said it because I know what other word to use.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no other word to use than love, and love, it just throws me off.
But no, I completely understand what you mean as far as people do tend to put everything, rather than acting, they say the word and then, love you, and then they're out and you going, prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the only reason I was saying that was because, like you were saying, like with actions and whatnot, like that's what really, that at the end of the day, that's what really matters. Mm-hmm. Like I was saying earlier, because you can tell somebody that you love them till you're blue in the face, but if there's no actions behind that, then I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. It's like the other problem that I have with people is when they say, you'll be fine, I'm gonna pray for you. And that's fine, but if you believe in the Bible, even in the Bible, it says prayers without actions are dead. So if you're going to tell somebody, that I'll give you a perfect example, right? So you see somebody that's on the street and they're hungry. Sir, ma'am,
I'm gonna pray for you.
I'm gonna pray for you. You're gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, motherfucker, but I'm still hungry. You know what I'm saying? So the difference is if I don't go and be like, sir, I'm gonna pray for you. You're gonna be fine. God got your back. Here's this $5. Go get yourself something to eat. That's different. You know what I'm saying? But you fucking just praying and not doing something about it. Now, if you really, really, really in the bottom of your heart can't do anything at that point in time, I get it. But if you have $2 in your ashtray and, sir, I'm going to pray for you. You know, God loves you, whatever. Give them $2. You're not going to starve if you give them those $2. I guarantee you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Same thing with the love thing. If you don't show anything, if you don't show it, then it doesn't mean shit. And I was very big on that. I mean, you're telling me that you love me, but you know what I'm saying? I haven't had a home cooked meal in fucking 4 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are we doing? McDonald's is getting old. You know what I'm saying?
A wordless breakfast or a meal of any kind where it's just like, I've done this thing. There's no need to speak on it. There's no need to explain it.
Exactly. You know what I'm
Holy
saying?
shit, that's my favorite.
So like I have no problem. Like, and you're a woman, but you might feel different. Like I was and this is where I fault myself as well. But like you were saying, like the gestures, there's nothing wrong with like giving your significant other flowers for no reason. Gotta be no anniversary. And that's where I lacked. But I lacked because, and it shouldn't have been an excuse, but I lacked because of like work and I was caught up in my own shit. And then the whole mother thing, I'm telling you, the whole experience with my mom really threw shit out the window. Like I was lost. So, but outside of that, I still feel I could have done better. Cause I mean, anybody could make that extra step of effort, like no matter what. So like, again, going back to the actions and like, I feel showing somebody that you love them is more than somebody just fucking saying it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel you on that. You were just starting to make me feel like, well, fuck, love ain't got nothing to do with it. I was like, I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with it.
It does. I just, I don't know why I cringe with the word. Like, it bothers me.
To go back to something you mentioned.
Somebody beat the shit out of you?
I love you. Can't you see this?
No, I'm just going back to my Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it?
Ike might have had a little something to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
She wasn't wearing all that eyeshadow because she thought it looked good. But no, you were talking earlier about respect, and to be honest, I think this is something you find when you get a little bit of experience. Like you said, you've tried this marriage thing a couple times now. I think there is very much, assuming that nobody has some sort of like personality, temperament type of issue.
Like me?
Well, like there are people like, all right, as far as people saying, I love you, there are people who literally need that.
Yeah. There's people that need that reassurance.
Yeah.
Of them needing to hear it.
Well, then
even if you're doing the actions, they still need
then that goes to the different love languages.
Exactly.
So if your spouse responds more with "I love you" 24/7, and that's what does it for them, then by all means. But then you have other people that it's like, I don't want to hear you. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Or,
so that's where I was going. That's where I was going with it too. In my marriage, I was that person. Like I wanted to hear it, but I didn't want to hear it because I told you. I wanted it to come from you. And if I said it and you said it, honestly, it didn't mean shit to me.
It's kind of like going back to the whole sex thing. It's not going to make a good session if you have to ask your spouse for it, right? It's kind of like what you're saying.
I disagree, and I'll tell you why.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back into it. Still, because I feel that if you need to ask your spouse for it and then, okay, well, I'll give it to you. It doesn't feel as good as when you're just in the moment.
So I got a question. What if your spouse likes for you to ask and you never do? Because you expect in the moment all the time.
That's rape.
Unfortunately, it is even when you're married, which I don't.
Yeah,
I don't understand
that's true.
that.
I'm pretty sure the law
also
here, that marital rape
if
thing
you
here in Texas is only like 20 years old. So
also if you're married and
you shouldn't have to ask if you're married for it. That's it.
That's not a statement you want to put out there.
Why? You
Wait.
shouldn't have.
Oh,
Why?
you mean to ask for somebody to initiate?
When you're married, yeah. If you're married to the person, you shouldn't have to be asking.
Did you understand my question though? What if your spouse would like for you to ask?
Then you would have already known that. That's why you married the person.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
but would you feel comfortable asking?
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean that's how it has to be. But from the very beginning,
I'm not saying. I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying it because I was like that. Because I was always the one, like, initiating, asking, telling, clues, doing,
that
touching.
sucks.
Yes, it does. So that's where I'm going. So touching, initiating, doing, clues here and there, so on.
Smoke signals.
Yes, smoke signals, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And my thing was that it was a turn on for me for her to ask. Even if she just literally asked. That's what I wanted. But she never did.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you never, she never did. So, and it sucked because I was the one, and it also didn't help the fact that I wanted to do it like every day. You know what I'm saying? So it was like every day I was the one, you know what I'm saying?
And that's not bad.
What do you mean?
Every day. Because you wanted it every day?
I thought you were saying you were asking me and that's not bad. I was like, no, I don't think it's bad.
No, it's not bad for you wanting it every day.
So going back to the previous part of the conversation, the psychologist or whatever the fuck she was,
the psych
told me that not directly, but she hinted at the fact that I should see somebody about possibly being sex addicted. That's exactly
sex
what
addicted. Okay, but you're married and you're having it with one person.
Yeah.
I would think sex addicted because you're, a serial sex person where you're just anyone.
That's what I told her. I was like, lady, it's not like I'm fucking anybody other than my wife. When I'm approaching this person, she's the only one that I approach. But her thing was that the fact that I wanted it daily, because we went
and then again, you're talking to a woman psychiatrist, anyways.
Which I thought it would be more understanding because she was a woman.
Yeah, understanding that you wanted it too much and you're a sex addict. That's what she gave you.
Exactly. That's what
Now, if it would have been a man. Man psychiatrist, I think it would have been different.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
It's a mixed bag, and asexuals are a real thing.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, I was trying to get to this, and again, to reaffirm what you had been saying earlier, I think you can have a relationship without sex if there is strong respect.
Yes.
But if there's no respect, I don't care how fucking passionate you are, that somebody's going to grab a body part the wrong way, and instead of being like, hey, don't do it that way, do it this way, it's going to be like, ow, fucker, get off me.
So then you're talking about friendship, not a marriage.
No.
I'm saying, okay, I'm not saying, now obviously if you're having kids, it requires at least once or twice in there every once in a while.
I just want to say, I 1000% understand where he's coming from. But
okay, help me understand.
You ever run into like the old school marriages where it's like, they not necessarily an arranged marriage, but like,
where you had like appointment sex.
Where like,
you know what appointment sex is?
Them getting together wasn't necessarily their idea, but like,
Or it was scheduled?
they've got like some, or, you know, hey, is it that time of the month? All right, let's put a baby in there. That's how I would feel about it myself. But I've seen relationships like that work where you have like the much older couple that one are probably beyond their sexual.
I personally know somebody that just do it every other Tuesday, and they're not that old. You know, I'm like, dude. I mean, they're older than me, but they're not old to where I can tell you that I think that they wouldn't function daily. They're not that old. I mean, but they've been married for like 20 some years. So I mean, if it works with them, I'm just saying, cause I'm going back to what you said. If I was in that situation, that would not work for me at all. And that there would be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do understand where you're coming from. There is people like that.
I'm just saying you can work with respect. Which
is the point that I was trying to make earlier. There has to be that respect, because I'll tell you, you don't know me personally, but for the people that do know me, I'm very big on respect. So this is what I mean. Going back to not being able to physically be intimate with each other, because of the amount of respect that I have for my significant other, if I couldn't, I would respect that. And I would not go looking for it somewhere else. And I would even go furthermore to say, would I be happy? Going back to what you said, if the communication and the intimacy and the other stuff was there, yeah, it'd be good. And with me, I'll give you another example with myself. I'm like a big ass kid. So what I'm saying is, if we had fun together, literally, just fucking around, figuratively speaking, I'd be fine. If you had a sense of humor, if you could understand and be okay with my sense of humor, we good. If we could fucking take trips together, we're good. You know what I'm saying? But to some people, like the psychologist said, it's sex driven, which that's what she was like putting me as. That's not enough, basically, is what she was saying. So that's why I was asking you, would you be okay with not being able to
do you have the penetration, right? That was the whole question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be okay with it, because you'll have that. You still have that feeling of, okay, that person still desires me. You still want, you know, to be around.
Which we go back to the details of you know, the flowers, the dates. Something that I learned within my marriage, but it was too late, and what I also learned outside through my own therapy and shit, was the importance of like dating your wife. And I mean that literally. Like, it's very important to date your wife. I don't understand why people get married and then everything else stops. Like, for example, the flowers and the going out. Hey, let's go have dinner. And it's simple shit. Like, let's go have dinner. Let's go eat, but just us. You know what I'm saying? Let's go have dinner. And ties back to what I said earlier. When you talk to your wife, talk and communicate and listen. Women, for the most part, are emotional creatures, so they want for you to pay attention. Even if they're telling you that their favorite color is red.
And they've heard it forever. And
exactly. And it's the most boring shit in the world.
Because they dye their hair red. And they paint their nails red. Yeah. And they have a red car. Oh, by the way, babe, you know that I love the color red.
Yeah. Exactly. But with me, that, like I said, that is shit that I've learned, that I learned too late. But
it's never too late, really.
Well, now it is, because
yes,
I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Had I known this thoroughly when I was married, I feel that I could have done more to like save my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because this again goes back to my roots. I was raised in the way that marriage is forever and so on and so forth. And I was also raised in the way that in order for your marriage to last forever, it takes work, like real work, which leads me back to my previous point. And I tell this to everybody now that wants to get married. You have to understand that everything that you're doing now that y'all are dating, and I tell this to the guy because I feel that it leans a lot more. It leans to the woman too, but it leans a lot more to the guy. I tell him everything that you're doing now to get her. Know that when you get married, not only do you have to keep doing it, but you're gonna have to do it double, and people don't understand that. Simple way of like when you get up in the morning and people don't understand, you have to tell, even if she tells you that she doesn't care, she does. You have to tell your wife you're beautiful, but you also have to mean it. If you're just saying it just because you think that's what she wants to hear, she's going to notice that it's just that you don't mean it. Now, if you lost the contact of seeing the beauty in your wife, that's a problem. Something happened that made you lose it. You know what I'm saying? I go back to my original point. Had I known all of this when I was married, maybe things would have been different. But again, I don't mean to sound like a rhetorical parrot, but I just feel like had I not dealt with my mom's passing, I really feel that I wouldn't have turned out the way that I did, because I know this because I was brought up this way. You know what I mean? And it didn't help the fact that she also like pushed me away. So there's only so much that you can do, and they push you away before you're like, what do I do?
I have a very strong sense that for a marriage too, like you said, you have to work at it. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be slam doors. There's going to be like, oh, why did I marry you? All these things, you know. But if you just communicate, like constantly communicate, that will make the marriage stronger. Exactly. And I know it sounds cheesy. Communication. Like, really?
But people don't understand.
I talk to my spouse. We talk every day. We're always texting. Okay, yes. But there's that one intimate conversation where you can have together, where you actually have to pour out. And I'm talking to ladies, because a lot of ladies don't pour out a lot of their emotions. Like, I feel this way, or when you do this, this is how I feel. Because a lot of the women do have pride. And, you know, some were raised like, this is who I am. And if they don't like it, well, it's too bad. You know what I mean?
If you can't handle me at my worst,
then you can't handle me at my best.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but a lot of that communication really, really, like, just, open up to your spouse. Let them know. When you burp like that, it really grosses me out. I don't know, just an example. Or it puts me in that bed.
She said when I chew. When you chew like this, it pisses me off.
My spouse, when I first met him, he would lick his fingers after he would eat. Oh my gosh, I hated that. I'm like, if we're going to be together, you need to quit doing that. And now guess who does it?
You.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
It's that chicken, I'm telling you.
I was about to say, he's been slowly sneaking the fried dishes like in slow. It's like, oh, you want some more tenders? Yeah, here you go. I think there is a sense, just to base it in reality a little bit, there's a whole bunch, checklist of like, well, I should do, or I could do this, or I try this, or blah, blah, blah. The advice you give to friends when, they give you a scenario and you go, okay, I wasn't there with you, but have you thought about this? Something like that. Not all of those are going to work. And to be honest, your best bet if they don't work is that they don't notice. Well, I'm sorry. That's kind of like mid-level scenario. What I was kind of getting at was there's kind of a sense I think people have sometimes in relationships of, it's like when, like if you explain a magic trick to someone and they go, oh, well, now I'm not interested. But then you have some people who go, oh, now I'm more interested because I know how the mechanism works. And like you were talking about, there's pride involved on both ends. But, and again, this is a gross generalization, but it is kind of based on fucking, majority statistic type of thing. There are a lot of women that don't like to look under the hood of their dudes. Like I've had that conversation. I've been in that scenario where it's like, well, just open up to her and like tell her how you feel, and you do, and she just goes, ugh. You're like, okay, either A, I did that wrong, or B,
she's just not the person that you need to be with.
Well, there's one thing. If
no, that might be true. No, that might be absolutely true.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But I think there's also the you were talking about, like, you would give the advice more to the guys than the women, and I think it's just different advice. It's the same subject. It's like, look, he's going to be doing all of these things, but in the same vein that he's putting forth this effort, fuck it, maybe you got a weird dynamic relationship. Maybe she's the wooer in this scenario. The point is, if you have the wooer and the wooed, the wooed needs to be wowed in the sense, like, you've got to, if somebody's putting forth the effort to do something and you understand why they're doing it, you have to, even if it's just, kabuki theater, it's like, oh, thank you, my love. And if you both know that you're going through the paces of the dance and it's not a cynical, heartless thing where it's just like, oh, I'm doing this so you'll leave me alone. But it's like, no, I'm doing this because I know that you will receive this feedback and in kind.
And if any man were to do that, just doing it for without the actual desire to do it, women can feed off of that. Just so you know, men. We feel it.
Yeah, that's
we know
when
it's
earlier.
not genuine. We know.
Going back to the beautiful thing.
Oh, we know too. Trust. And that's fucking infuriating as hell, because it's like, that's, again, I think it's, we do kind of, hopefully less and less, but on the whole, let's say in the greater culture, Western civilization, whatever, we do still, to a sense, infantilize women. We go, oh, you must be the delicate flower. And again, we've backed off of that a lot, but a lot of that is like the conversation of like I've heard like mothers give advice to their daughters along the lines of like, oh, they just do stupid shit sometimes. Don't worry about it. And it's like, whoa. Maybe you don't understand the stupid shit that your dude's doing, but like, odds are if anybody is doing a repetitive behavior and they're responding the same way every time to stimulation, situations, scenarios, whatever, there's a reason. But a lot of people, pride comes back into play. They don't want to have that conversation. They don't want to sit down and go.
But that's what me and her were saying, that if you're with somebody that is like that, then you probably shouldn't. That was my philosophy, like that's what I thought that's what I thought a marriage should be. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to be with the person that I could tell everything to. And by everything, I literally mean everything. So this is the example. This is the example that I use. If I ever killed anybody, I should be able to come to you and tell you. Now, what you do after that, that's a different story. But I should be able to feel comfortable enough to where, like, holy fuck, I just threw him into the river. It's an
example.
I didn't kill anybody that I know of. I'm kidding.
Okay, but let me throw this at you. I think, because I know I've made this mistake before.
You killed the
No.
Never.
To be honest, the difference, again, another difference between you and I, sir, is like, I don't care what questions you ask, as long as you're getting the shovel out of the shed while you're doing it, we're good. I need reciprocation, a little cooperation.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you can bitch at me afterwards, but first, 6x4. That's all. I think a lot of the time, especially when you're younger, like you said, you got married at 20. Jeez, fucking, I know people that got married much younger than that, and let's just say, I know people have been married for damn near 20 years at this point, and the first 10 years were a fucking shit horror. Yeah. It's like, hey, come over to the house. No, I'm not going to go over to your fucking house.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to play referee while...
Yeah. and that's what I'm saying, and you learn from that.
Okay.
If I would have known what I know now back then yeah, I would have still been married. Again, going back to the way that I personally am, life is too short to be miserable. Yes, I was raised Catholic. I do know that once you're married, and then you divorce, that looks really bad on you. You know,
I'm not Catholic. But
I'm just saying.
I know.
But I strongly believe that if you're not happy, and if you have kids, the kids feed off of that.
Yeah.
Do you really want to give that vibe to your kids and then them grow up with that kind of, I want to say negativity, no, like if you're not happy in the relationship, in the marriage, again, not saying yay for divorce. I'm just saying like, don't stay somewhere where you know that you're not growing. You wake up miserable every damn day, wishing that she would say, hey, let's have sex, or wishing that he would say, hey, let's have sex today, versus like, well, I married you and what's going on? Like, why do I feel like I'm lacking something?
I think you used the right words there as far as if you're not growing. Mm-hmm. And this gets to where I was trying to go.
It goes back to communication.
Okay, but there are issues with communications. Like the kids are not going to understand that,
No, with your spouse.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the kids don't understand, mom and dad are trying to work some shit out. Mm-hmm. They just see problems, aggression, Yeah. Whereas I think we take this, again, I say this because I've done it myself. You kind of, whether you're doing it on purpose or not, you assume the other person knows what they're doing. You just go, oh, well, I'm a fuck up, clearly, but yeah, I like them. They must know what the fuck is what's up. So you get that scenario where you go to them with, hey, I've got a body in the trunk, and they just go, oh my God, and they freak out. And, again, not an actual body and a metaphorical body, but
again, but that goes back again. That I feel that goes back to what I said earlier. Then the fuck up in you is in you, meaning me. That I chose to spend the rest of my life with this person. I think those are the check boxes that you personally should go through when you go and try to decide to marry somebody. Kind of the same thing going back to not compromising your morals. Like you need to check off your moral. Again, this is you. Your morals may be different, whatever. That's not the point. But you're like, okay, this and this and this, because this is what I'm not willing to compromise. And if you don't find it in that person and you still decide to marry that person, then it's not her fault. It's your fault because you decided to deliberately overlook that. Mm-hmm. Which goes back to the point that you were making of like, if you tell this person, I got a body in the trunk, I done fucked up, and then they lose their fucking mind, then it's not really their fault. It's your fault because...
No. It's a shared responsibility. Like,
No, because you should have... Well, I mean, what I'm saying is you should have known that she was going to react that
Why
way.
would you? If you've never put somebody in a scenario before,
again,
why would you know?
What she said earlier.
What did I say? I said a lot of things.
This is something...
She made some solid points. You got to...
This is something that should... Not deliberately killing somebody, but...
Hey, it could have been an accident.
This shit should have been something that should have been talked about.
Okay, dude.
Okay, first of all, you don't talk about that in the beginning of a relationship.
No, not at the very beginning.
Everything is rainbows and butterflies.
At the
everything
beginning
is great, and I love you, and I love everything. Blah 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 blah.
I've talked to at least 2 people who I know started off with their relationship with that bullshit, like fucking sitcom, like okay, what do you want? What do you want your kids to be? Fucking this and that. How do you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And granted, I've tried that nonsense before. Usually ends up with a blank face and somebody going, I gotta go to the bathroom, and just not coming back to the table. But I know that it does work for certain people, but you're right. For the most part, it's in that early stage infatuation.
Like you don't even talk about that.
So you're pretty, and then that's about as far as
Really?
it gets.
Yes, I'll marry you. And then it isn't until after you're married where you start figuring out he chews with his mouth open.
Okay, but you brought up the whole Catholicism thing, and I've mentioned this before. Like, I am about as far from a Catholic as you can get, but more and more as I get, that whole thing about getting more conservative as you get older, I understand the reason for some of it. And granted, it's listening to way smarter people than me talk about, shit. But the no way out scenario. Now, granted, there are a lot of times where it's like, oh, no, y'all should divorce. Y'all should just move into separate countries and just forget that you were ever in each other's lives. But most times, whether it's pride, stubbornness, arrogance, whatever it may be, if you've gotten to the point where you've got the marriage certificate, or even if it's not the marriage certificate, you moved in, you got a kid, maybe you've bought a puppy. I don't know what the fuck it is. You have made a decision where it's like, look, I have chosen to be with you for more than 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I've already envisioned, regardless of on what end of the scale you are in the relationship, you know what I mean? Dom or sub, whatever it be. If you've made that choice to be there for the long haul, it kind of puts you in a position, like that thing where back when you're in school, you had to write an essay. Oh, well, you're back in school again, but you got to write an essay and you're like, I got 2 weeks, I'm good. And then the night before you're, hastily going through like 3 drafts at a time going, oh, okay, I think I got it. But you don't just go, well, fuck it, I guess I'm not doing this essay. At that point, you might as well not even be in school.
Yeah.
And again, with the marriage, if you're not, I'm not saying you should wait till the last minute. By all means, don't wait till the house is on fire and the body's already in the trunk and, oh shit, we forgot to buy a shovel. I'm saying if you're in that scenario where you go, look, we're here, we're going to be here. And it's like, oh, you're not happy? Well, clearly we're not happy then. We have to fix this.
Yes, we. Now,
exactly.
And very quickly, people will abandon that we. They just,
real quick. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're not happy? I thought everything was great. I'm happy.
All of a sudden it goes to, well, she's doing it. It's like, no. What were y'all doing?
Exactly.
So,
and people don't want to take the responsibility of we because they don't understand. And again, I'm not pushing.
I will also push back against you when you go, well, no, you should have known. I should have known. It's like, okay, no. Mutual. Everybody's got to share the load. If it's not a shared load.
That's what I was saying. Like when it comes to that we shit, and again, I'm not pushing my personal beliefs on anybody, but I feel that something that people don't understand is they don't understand that when you get married, going back to the shared shit, it's no longer like I fucked up or she fucked up. It's we. Whether it's a decision that you made solely that fucked both of us up, people need to understand that that's we fucked up. And I think that's why they go into the notion of like, oh, well, if she wouldn't have done this or if he wouldn't have done, no. You need to understand that this marriage, it's a together thing. So yeah, you made a decision and it fucked both of us up. And that's why they don't want to visit the scenario of like, how do we fix it? And a lot of people take the approach of like, well,
I wasn't the one.
Exactly. Yeah. We didn't fuck up.
You're the one that didn't want to have sex with me. And you're the one that
And this is my favorite. So you fucked up. Now you have to fix it. Let me know when you fix it. Wait a minute, bitch. So don't call her a bitch. I'm just saying.
Hey, sometimes, I'm not saying you should call people names in a relationship, but every once in a while,
you gotta smack that bitch up. I just kidding.
I had a very surreal experience at one point, just calling.
We're just get everybody.
No. There was none of that. I was being the calm one in this situation. I just turned to her and went, "You're being a real fucking asshole right now." And the look on her face was, she was not pleased at that statement.
Yeah.
Granted, she'd been calling me a bitch ass faggot the whole night, but I mean, it's just That's just the way she communicated love.
So the point that I was trying to make earlier, the example that I was going to use, like as of knowing how strong and I don't know what other way to say it, but how solid your partner is like a real quick example with me, because this is the first time I'm married, but I've been engaged before. In the previous relationship, I was engaged. So with her, this is when I knew that I should have married her. And you're going to fucking think I'm crazy or whatever. But back then...
More than what I already think?
Exactly. So back then, this was solidified. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So back then, I was into like doing some shit. You know, I was into moving things, selling things, so on and so forth. I don't have to go deeper than that. So I was doing that shit. So
there's some square out there right now, confused as fuck.
Like, a furniture mover?
Antique sales.
So I had already known her, but we had just started dating. So I didn't just want to be like, hey, this is what I do, because I was afraid. I really liked her, so I was afraid of scaring her away.
So you were afraid of being yourself already. You see, that's right.
So that's where I was going. That's where I was going. So that was part of the issue or whatever. So we went to the beach one time. We were there with and I was doing my thing, but I didn't tell her, right? So then we're coming back. I get pulled over, and as soon as I got pulled over, I was like, fuck. And the first thing I said, like, I'm going to jail. Now, given I was living in California, I didn't have a California license or whatever. So that's what she thought that it was. She was like, relax, you're going to be fine.
You mean you didn't have a Texas license?
I had a Texas license that was expired.
Oh, okay.
And I was now living in California.
Oh, okay.
So that's what she thought the issue was, you know? And I was like, fuck. Because the first thing I said was, fuck, I'm going to jail. So she was like, no, relax. You're going to be fine. They're probably going to give you a ticket. You might go to jail, but I mean, it's going to be for a day. Like, it's fine. And I was like, no, you don't get it. I'm going to jail. She was like, what's wrong? Tell me. And I was like, I got a lot of shit in my pockets. And that clicked in her head. So and this is why I say that thinking back on it now, this is when I found out that I should have married her. Cause she was like, this is the first thing she said. She was like, you fucking idiot. She was like, give it to me quick. And I was like, no. I'm not putting you in this. I'm going to deal with it. She was like, no, idiot.
But you did already. Cause she was there with you.
Yeah, exactly. She was like, you're not, she was like, you're not from here. I'm from here. She was like, just give it to me. I was like, I'm not explaining this shit to your mom. Give it to me. So I literally grabbed everything from my pocket and I gave it to her. And thank God that the cop took forever to get up off the car. She literally unbuckled her pants and stuffed it. But she stuffed it.
And that was the time where you said I should have married her. Because she was able to fit all that in there. Is that what?
No.
Amazing Grace.
So they come.
How'd you know her name was Grace? No.
So they come, whatever. Long story short, they didn't, and I'm going back to the point that you made of okay, you have a dead body. We gonna deal with this shit right now, and then we're gonna talk. That's what she said. It's like, we're getting out of this right now, but when we get home, we're gonna talk. So she did that. I didn't get caught. The cop even let us go because I talked to him, whatever, and he let us go. I was like, holy shit. So then she was like, we're not going to talk about it on the car either because we're going to wait home we talk or whatever. And so we got home and we talked. And my point is that I realized, to answer your question, I realized that this chick was willing to take the heat for something that she had nothing to do with.
Now, mind you, you're not married at this point.
Exactly.
So
what does that tell you about her?
That if you were married, she probably would have been like, fuck you.
No, because
you don't know.
No,
because you're going back to the whole pre-feeling. Remember how everything is rainbows and butterflies when you're not married? because you're doing a whole bunch of things. You're doing things,
but nobody. I feel.
You know what I'm saying, right?
I know what you're saying.
As a matter of fact,
I
what
know,
you just said kind of got me thinking on a thing. Like, because more often than not, you get the scenario where it's like, oh, in the early stages, like, oh, I better be on my best behavior. So, they always say shit like, be the person you are. Try to be the person you are when you're dating all the time. It's like, okay, well, maybe mix that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look. While the endorphins are still running, while the the hormones are flying and the infatuation is kicking in.
Yeah, I'll do anything for you.
No, but here's the thing. Do some dumbass shit. Let them know what's up while you still have that buffer time. You know what I mean? Once that's gone, the dumb shit is
ain't
not
nobody gonna sacrifice 3 years of their life with you when they're dating. But they're not. If they don't love you, they're not gonna do it.
Look, I think the important statement in that story was, I don't want to have to explain this to your mom. Like that. Granted, this.
By the way, she hadn't even met my mom at this point either.
But the fact that she's thinking that far ahead. See, now that's where the
now
she wasn't thinking. That's what it was.
What the hell do you mean? That's exactly what she was doing. She, like Sean said, she was thinking ahead because she was thinking he's gonna go to jail. I'm gonna have to deal with his mom. Then I'm gonna have to deal with him. So I'd rather him not go through that. So
I don't know. I'm different on that.
Well, all right. Just to give you a bit of perspective, like as the broken male mind that I am, listening to your story, the fact that she goes, "We're gonna wait till we get home." The fact that she has the sense of decorum of it's like, okay, I've got a stash in my gash right now. Let's wait until that's out of there. Let's have this reasonable. That's what I got from the story anyway. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like. That's where my mind's going through with that. Granted, I fully understand. I've met more than a few young ladies who have done some dumbass fucking shit for a dude that wasn't worth shit. So.
And where are they now? Are they together?
Raising his kids.
But all I'm saying is that everything changes when you get married. I don't know why that is. So whether you were dating 2-3 years, it's going to be great. For some reason, once you become one, it's like you done fucked up and you're going down because I'm not going to go. You should have known, something like that. But again, that's with marriage.
Well, I mean, that which leads me to the question that I was going to ask you with the whole marriage thing. Now that you're on your third marriage, how long you been married this time?
5 years already.
Okay. Yeah.
So
now that you've been married this time, and I have a feeling what you're gonna answer, but
I better go.
Are you? I know how to ask. Are you happier?
Yes.
Than what you were before?
Yes.
Are you sure? I'm not trying to have you second guess yourself, but it's because when people are in situations now, they're like, yes, I'm happy. That's why I'm here.
No. Again, going back to where I'm not like your typical woman where I'm going to stay hushed, it's not 100% great.
It's never going to be.
Yeah. What I've learned in the past is that it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And you do have to work at it.
Uh-huh.
And you do have to find other avenues to help yourself cope with whatever situation your relationship is giving you.
Even drugs?
If you have to go through that extreme. I don't know. Again, going back to the first hour where I told you that I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, that does go in hand, especially in a long-term relationship. Am I happy? Yes, I'm happy. How am I staying happy? Well, I'm doing other things to keep my mind occupied from, let's just say there's something lacking. It's going to lack no matter what relationship you're in. If this one doesn't work out and I find someone else, there's going to be something wrong.
Yeah.
But
100%.
Yeah. But I do.
There's no such thing as Barbie.
But I do things to take your mind off of whatever situation is bothering me at that particular moment for my relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's doing this or whether it's doing yoga, or whether it's writing for 30 minutes, just writing anything, it keeps you sanity. It keeps you sane from actually attacking your partner and telling them, you know what, you're this and this and that, and you don't do this and this. And, there's no need for that, because then that goes back to the whole respect part that you were talking about in the beginning. You need to respect them. I mean, they're humans too, so yeah, I can honestly say I've learned a lot from my other 2 marriages for this one.
I learned a lot from just this one marriage. But see, again, I'm different. I learned so much from this marriage that one thing that I learned is that I don't think I'm going to remarry. And I can tell you why. Because of what you said right now. Anybody else that I choose to be with, there's gonna be a problem. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that problem is, but there will be one. Which means that we are gonna argue regardless. And this is what's gonna sound crazy. I don't think I'm built to argue about whatever it is. Doesn't matter. To argue for the rest of my life. I can't.
No, no one can. I mean, who would want to do that?
But it's gonna happen.
No, yes, it's gonna happen.
So,
but I mean, resolve that argument.
Yeah, and
not have that argument follow you years and years and years and years.
I got you. But when my point is, and like I said, this is where we're different, and I get you 1,000%. But what I'm saying is, when you resolve that argument, there's gonna be another one. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm telling. Again, me personally.
Why are you laughing over there?
Because of what I'm saying.
You mean I have to shit every day?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So with me, and again, I'm just telling you, I feel like a unicorn in the way that I don't want to argue with a motherfucker like the rest of my life. I don't. I feel.
Well, when you find the right person, there shouldn't be that many arguments. I mean, when you say arguments, I mean, there's like disagreements, Like, why do you have to constantly clean the counter? I had this here for a reason. Like, can you please stop? Disagreement, like, well.
Okay, but say that you can't, say, an example. Say that that's your problem, right? You have that problem with that person. But say that and it really bothers you. Let's say that that's a problem that you can't fix and he's going to continue doing it. My question becomes, do you leave?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
I disagree on that. Well, because
it's okay to disagree.
Yeah, it is. But what I'm saying is,
if you've communicated day in and day out, years and years in this relationship where something is bothering you and that person has not clicked to where, okay, you know what? This is really pissing her off, and it's pissing her off to where even if I was to ask her a question, she's going to snap at me.
Yeah.
Why would you want to stay in that relationship? It's obviously not going to grow.
Can I flip the question on you? Why would you leave? Why would I leave? Yeah, I'll even tell you why I'm asking that. That's my point. Wow, like I don't see, as crazy as it may sound, I don't see
All I'm thinking is, if you're in it to win it, murder suicide is the only option.
I was just gonna say like I don't see a point. As into why you would leave continuous, not in the same relationship, but why you would leave over like petty stuff. In other words, I feel that in a marriage, there's shit that you have to deal with, period.
Yes. And I get that. Petty stuff gets resolved. Okay, please stop cleaning the counter. I had certain things there. Okay, cool. I got it. I won't do it. Now, if it continues, and it continues for years and years, and you're like, you know what? This isn't going nowhere. It's going to nowhere. I voiced my side. I've communicated. I've, whatever it is that you have to do, and you're still not getting that respect that you're asking for. Like, hey, respect the fact that I've already come to you several times. This is like the third year. Really? You're still going to want to stay there? That person obviously isn't in tune with what you want to make your life or day go.
That's my point, that nobody is. Because like what you said earlier,
but
there's going to be somebody else that's going to have a different problem.
But that's what a marriage is supposed to be. You grow together.
Yeah.
Oh, babe, you don't like that I do that? No, please stop doing. Okay, I won't do that. How about I do this? Now, if you have someone that isn't able to understand that, then why are you married to them? Why would you wake up every day knowing that they're not going to get it right? They choose to dismiss your wants. They choose to just forget the fact that you...
So I guess you're saying that everything, not everything...
I'm making sense, right? You understand what I'm saying?
No, you're making sense to me. Yeah.
Granted, these are kind of floating over the surface area.
Just making sure.
You're making sense to me too.
I think it kind of goes back to what the infantilization, not just of women but of men too. You do have, man-childs out there who, have participated in behavior like that before. Just, you learn and you grow, and but I think we're. Freddy's kind of getting at. If I'm getting it right.
It's because the thing that he's still his morals. Like marriage was meant to last and to make it work, right?
Okay,
that's what that's your root, your
what
foundation
he also said
of it.
Is, I'm not going to get married again, probably. Like he's recognized. Don't want to put words in your mouth, Freddy, but that's what I'm getting out of you. I heard you ramble on about this bullshit more than a few times, but I mean that as a joke, buddy. You looked a little confused.
Huh?
Wait, do you not like me? But yeah, I mean, if you're not finding it, by all means, there's some people who should not be married.
Exactly.
I mean, there's some
and life is short. You don't want to be miserable the rest of your life. I mean, life is short. I mean,
to quote the great Louis C.K., you're dead way longer than you're alive.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I think it was Herodotus. No, I'm getting that one wrong. You never step in the same river twice, but you can piss that bitch off in a multitude of ways. What I was going to get at, we're coming up on the hour here. God damn it.
It went by fast. I know.
Should have brought
it was a good topic too.
Yeah. A lot of the times, if somebody comes to you in a relationship, whether it be emotional, a romantic relationship, a working partnership, a, close acquaintance, whatever it is, and they keep giving you shit that like, oh, we can work on this. And it's like, all right, I think you're just giving me shit because you don't know how to like maybe you don't want to be here and you just
yes.
Why do you keep taking my stuff off the counter? It's
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
He got it. He understood where I was coming from.
Because I've seen a couple scenarios where people...
But, I mean, I wouldn't leave someone because of that. That was just an example.
That's what I was asking.
Okay, and that is petty shit like you were talking about. Yeah. And no, you're not going to leave someone because of that. I mean, who wouldn't want someone to clean your counter all the damn time? No,
but even if that wasn't the... say you chew loud. Uh-huh. This is what I'm telling you. Say you chew loud and I tell you, hey, can you not do that? But say that you continue to do it. So say that I told you 10 times and we've been together for 5 years now and you continue to do that. You want me to be honest with you? I'm not going to leave you if you continue to chew loud.
Well, of course not.
No, but that's what you said earlier. You said then I would leave.
No. I would leave if there's a situation where you've told them repeatedly and not just 10 times throughout the day. You're just saying like, okay, you've been married for 5 years and every freaking, 10 times each month, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And here goes 5 years. If you're not freaking happy that person is still chewing loud and you just can't, get the fuck out.
But that's what I'm saying.
Why are you going to go through life upset and then have that vibe everywhere that you go?
Okay.
And then
you know what I would do?
There. Sometimes the loud chewing is not really the problem. It's just the most convenient issue at the moment.
Correct.
Because I see, just to go back to the counter thing.
He gets it.
Somebody comes to she comes to me and she says, "Hey, don't clean off this stuff. I want it here." And I go, "Okay." So next time I see stuff on the counter, I go in and I go, hey, are you using that stuff on the counter? Can I clear that off?
Exactly.
And now it goes from being, hey, stop moving my stuff off the counter to like, why do you got to bother me with this every time? It's like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
That wasn't really the problem. That was just a convenient.
Oh, so you're
thing.
saying an excuse to leave. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Sometimes it's just an excuse to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Again,
Everyone
I think
finds excuses to fight. I'm
Why,
finding one
though?
right now.
What? No, but
and you're playing
I'm finding one right now.
You're playing fair so far. You haven't said anything about it.
but like that. That's what I'm saying. So my biggest point to that.
By the way, we are at the hour mark, so wrap that up, brother.
Real quick. So say that you continue to chew loud. Me personally, I wouldn't leave you for and I'm just gonna give you two reasons. One, because I supposedly love you, right? So I wouldn't leave you. Number two is because what I would do to try to, me, not you, to help my marriage with your problem or what I feel that is your problem is I would try to figure out a way to cope with it. All right. So I don't like her chewing loud. So what can I do so that either it
and
does,
that's what I was talking about when you asked me, are you happy? And I said, yes, because not all marriages are going to be, peaches and cream. So whatever is lacking, whatever situation that you and your partner face and you're having a little argument, find something to cope with it, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what the fuck that would be, but yeah.
Well, working out, anything.
Yeah.
Watching TV, playing a game, whatever.
Let me throw this question to y'all too, and then we can either have some last thoughts and wrap out of here because we want to get your social media and all that. Let's say you're in the relationship, the issue comes up, and it's not a minor issue. It's not lip smacking or something. It's, like
a real.
Not a.
He was the coach, damn it. No.
Huh?
Not quite that bad.
Well, coach. Oh, the one that touched you? You still with that one?
No. I was implying that you cheated with the coach.
Still calls him every Saturday. Miss those 2 a days, coach.
Thank you for
Once
stealing my punchline.
Go ahead and cough.
That nurse had rough hands. But no, okay. You're trying to work the situation out, and you can clearly see that your partner is putting in the effort.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm leaving this open. Doesn't matter whether it's romantic. Romantic, there's a little bit more, cling there, especially when you get into marriage, of course. But okay, they've tried and they tried. Is it at least satisfying to you to know that they are putting in, even if it's not the effort you necessarily wanted, because they're an autonomous person. You can't just go do what I say, damn it. Even as many times as you want to, unless you get in one of them dom sub relationships, in which case, put that dog collar on and call him daddy. But is the
effort.
All right. The Beatles song Norwegian Wood. You familiar with the song?
Yeah.
Isn't it good, Norwegian Wood? Well, the original words were knowing she would. And the idea was a night in which everybody wants to, but I got work in the morning, yada, yada, yada. And that's a simple thing. That's dating. But I'm saying that like, look, I want to do this better. I don't know how, but I'm going to keep trying.
So you help them.
Of course, you're going to be satisfied because of the effort. Because you see the effort. That's the whole point. That's what I'm saying. You're talking about something that's bothering you for your spouse, and both of you come together. Okay, you know what? I'll buy myself some noise canceling headphones. That way I won't hear you chewing. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Because you're finding the effort. I mean, you're seeing the effort on the other person, or maybe she'll say like, okay, I'll chew in the other room, or I'll eat in the other room. That way you won't get upset or whatever. Yeah. That comes together because you see the effort. Now, when you're day in and day out saying, I don't really like this, we should try something, and then not you or he or she or you, whatever, put that effort, then there's no point.
Yeah.
I don't see a point.
I got you.
Again, trying to grow. And
together. There, I agree with you. I was just misunderstanding. I really thought that you were like, well, fuck this, I'm walking out. And I'm like, bro, you can't do that.
I have twice.
But you said that you learned from that.
Yeah, I learned that they obviously can't handle me now. No, I learned to communicate more and to find ways to.
I'm gonna add the last question
with
that the psychologist asked me, and I didn't understand until months after I stopped seeing the psychologist. But she asked me, "You do understand that down the line of your marriage, you were the problem, right?" Now, when she asked that, she didn't mean you were solely the problem.
Hold on a second.
We good?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that in editing. We lost a little bit of footage there.
Oh, we did we? Okay.
Okay.
Oh no! Just like she was like, you do understand
It
that
was your fault,
you
yeah.
were the problem down your marriage, right? And at the beginning, I was like, damn, this bitch is just blaming everything on me. But then I comprehended the question, and it made sense. And I learned that we caused this issue. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Even if it's something you did, we did it. So that's what I was going to ask you, whether it was in your previous marriages or what have you, but you do understand within yourself that you were part of the problem. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I've learned a lot from those other two, with now my marriage now, because I know that in the past I didn't work at it. It was like I don't want to say my way or the highway. But
That's
again,
the impression I got.
Yeah. But again, it was more like a lot of factors went into why my marriages didn't work out.
Yeah.
But I 100% blame myself for not sticking it through and finding different ways like I do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
1,000%. All right. So this is the part where we you give out.
Bring out your ex. No.
And now behind curtain number one.
Where you give out your social media and your if you want to.
Okay. Well, my social media is just real easy. It's Nikki Ray Media or Nikki Ray 1049 on Facebook. Instagram, I'm not really much of. I do have Instagram, but I don't really do much on there. It's just kind of like
I think I follow you, and I've never seen you post anything.
Yeah, it's very like every once in a while, but it's really more Facebook that I do a lot of posts on there. So,
gotcha. Cool.
And then you can listen to me on 104.9.
That's what I was
yeah,
gonna say.
Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. I host love songs, and I do talk about relationship.
So if you need a therapist, call.
I'm not a therapist. I am not a therapist. I am like far from perfect in any kind of marriage relationship type things, but I do know a lot of therapists that are experts online.
Do you have a single twin?
Huh?
Do you have a single twin?
No.
Jesus. Never mind.
Remember, marriage is obsolete for you. So if I did have a twin, more than likely you want to marry her, and marriage is not in your future. So yeah.
Well, you don't have a twin. So.
See, saying too much too soon. Right?
Cool. So Facebook. The best way to...
The best way, uh-huh.
Okay.
104.9,
yes.
Monday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And on the weekends, too. On the weekends, I'm just on random.
Are y'all hiring?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I'm kidding.
You'll have to check our page on that one.
I'm never fucking applying for radio again. Sean?
John?
Oh, are we going that order this time?
Yeah.
It was me first? God, fuck it.
Don't be shy, fucker.
You can find me across the board on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I had Freddy G. When does this come out?
This will be coming out this Friday, which is
this Friday
10th?
Where am I?
Siri, open up the
10th.
calendar.
I believe it's 10th.
Yeah. No. Yes, the 10th.
Bam.
All right. So it comes out on the 10th. So you can catch me on January the 31st. If you're in San Antonio, we said. Yeah, San Antonio. Then you can catch me on the 1st. Where am I? In Dallas. I don't have the fucking locations locked down yet. I'll be honest, I do, but I don't remember. Follow me on my social media. You'll see the post come up with the flyers and all that shit on the locations, but I will be in Dallas on the 1st, and then oh shit, I can't promote the private party. Yeah, y'all can't come to people's houses randomly and shit.
I'm doing a thing you ain't never gonna see.
Yeah, and I'm also doing a private party, just so you know.
Just so you know, he'll be busy.
On the 2nd.
Yeah.
Big things for your boy.
And then I have a show again on the 14th for that fucking holiday that is the stupidest holiday in the world, Valentine's Day. I have a show, so come out and support comedy.
Yeah, anti-Valentine's. Go support anti-love.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I have the show on the 14th, and that is about it. I have some shows in March, but we'll shoot again before then, so you'll hear that later.
Yes. Kind of pointed out, in case you didn't catch it from the beginning, we're kind of recording these things a little bit closer to release date. So, you'll actually be able to know about the things we're trying to promote, or you could just follow us on social media. That's your choice. Mm-hmm. Did you give them?
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Freddy G.
I'll be honest, Freddie. The way you were giving those dates out, it was like, I'm just going to show up in San Antonio on 31st, and I'll find some place that wants me to.
Yeah, no, I don't fucking remember the. I have them.
Just leaning into bars, like, hey, y'all want a comic? I do jokes.
Yeah, I don't remember the names of the places, but as soon as I get the flyers, I'll flush them out for sure.
Yeah, and I'll be playing cameraman on those dates as well. So if you want to show up and if you feel like buying Freddy a drink, he doesn't drink. Respect that. You can buy me one
for real.
I will drink all the drinks. I'm also driving, so woo! Anyway, if you'd like to get in touch with me, it's hatfieldstandup@gmail.com, as well as Hatfieldstandup on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to catch me, I will be hosting at Nikki Ray, the Wednesday night comedy show on January the 15th. No idea who the fucking headliner is. That's always great. They book a host and then they try to get a lead act. But
isn't that Sonia?
The 15th? No. Sonia. Oh, by the way, if you'd like to catch one of the if you're here in the RGV and you'd like to catch one of the funniest in the area, I'd put her on the list, man. She's up there
for sure. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna be there. She's gonna be live at TNLA on the 8th. So come and support my comedy sister. She's funny as fuck.
Wait. Shit, this isn't coming out till the 10th. Shit.
Shit, look. It was a badass show. Y'all missed it.
Y'all should have been there, man, for sure.
This was not a mistake. Yeah.
So you can see the effort that we put into production. You know what I'm saying?
We love you, Sonia. But yeah, I'll be hosting on the 15th. There'll be more information about that. Follow me on Facebook or Twitter or something. Hatfield Stand Up. If you'd like to get in touch with us specifically about the podcast, obviously a little late to ask Nikki a question. You'd have to actually get in touch with Nikki. Please do. Please be nice, you fucking bastards. But yeah, if you'd like to get in touch with us about the podcast, bouncingbrainspodcast@gmail.com, as well as Bouncing Brains Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to listen to any of the audio episodes of this podcast, you can go to shoutengine.com/bouncingbrains, or you can find us on Stitcher and the Google Music Play Store app. One of those. There's a fucking issue. Google called Alphabet because they got 26 different fucking names. Anyway, my point being is, yes, Stitcher, Google Music Play app, shoutengine.com/bouncingbrains. If you'd like to watch the video, or if you're watching the video right now and you'd like to get more episodes, watch and subscribe on YouTube under Bouncing Brains. We're getting closer and closer to that 100 subscriber mark so we can get that custom URL, because I do not want to read a fucking hexadecimal code out every week. Just search for Bouncing Brains And if you get that,
we're the first search
we're
that
number
comes
one.
up. We're the first ones. So whoever fucking did that by viewing, keep fucking doing it. Thank you.
Our condolences to that little Euro techno pop, whatever the fuck he was. It's electronic something or other. Anyway, fuck dance music. Huh? Dance music.
I like that kind of music.
Oh, no, you misunderstood me. I'm saying fuck to dance music. It's got the right rhythm to it.
Good one.
Spinning this shit. So, yes, Bouncing Brains podcast on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to each and every one of you that listened.
Well,
and
thank you
very much, Nikki, for coming on and joining us.
And until next time, keep it tight.
And please lube it.